A story has more power than any look, any outfit, or any line you could rehearse. People think attraction is about muscles, money, or status, but the human mind does not fall for logic. It falls for narrative. When a man tells a certain kind of story, he does more than entertain. He shapes the way a woman sees him. He becomes not just another man in the room, but the man her emotions tie themselves to without her even realizing. Psychologists call this their transportation effect. The brain does not separate a story from reality. When you hear one, your nervous system reacts as if you are living it. If a man knows how to tell the right kind of story, he can bypass doubts, silence fears, and create a bond that feels deeper than anything surface level. This is not about manipulation. It is about awakening something primal, something hidden, that makes attraction feel inevitable. What if you could speak in a way that made her want you before she even understood why? People often assume attraction is born from looks or status, but the truth is much quieter and much stranger. The human brain does not fall in love with a list of traits. It falls in love with meaning. When someone speaks in a way that makes you feel part of a story, your mind forgets to judge. You stop comparing, you stop doubting, and you begin to feel. Think about the last time you lost yourself in a movie or a book. Your body reacted to something that was not even real. Your heart raced during a chase scene. You felt sorrow when a character cried. You even smiled when someone on the screen fell in love. The human brain does not separate what it sees in a story from what it experiences in life. For that short period, it feels real. Now bring that power into human connection. When a man tells a story, and he tells it the right way, the same process begins. A woman listening does not sit there analyzing every detail. Her heart and nervous system respond faster than her mind can keep up. This is why a story can create attraction in ways that reason never could. Psychologists explain this through mirror neurons. These are brain cells that fire when you do something, and also when you watch someone else do the same thing. If you watch a person pick up a glass, your brain acts as if you picked it up too. The same happens with feelings. When you hear about fear, joy, or passion, your brain quietly mirrors the experience. You feel it, even though it did not happen to you. This is where desire enters. A woman may not remember every fact about you, but she will always remember how you made her feel. If your story creates suspense, her heart will beat faster. If it carries triumph, she will feel inspired. If it carries loss, she will feel her chest tighten. All of those emotions link back to you, because you are the one who brought them to life inside her. This is not about lying. It is not about creating fake tales to impress. That backfires, because deep down people sense what is false. It is about shaping truth in a way that carries meaning. Even the smallest memory, if told with emotion, becomes powerful. There is an old study where men and women were asked to rate each other after simple conversations. The men who shared stories that carried emotional weight were rated far more attractive than men who only spoke about themselves in facts or bragged about success. The women did not consciously decide this. They simply felt more drawn to the men whose words made them feel something. So the first step is clear. Attraction is not logic. It is not math. It is narrative. Not every story has power. Some stories fall flat because they do not touch the right places in the human mind. A story that makes a woman want a man is not one filled with bragging or empty details. It is not about saying how much money you make, where you traveled, or how many people admire you. Those words build walls instead of bridges. What works is very different, almost hidden, and it lies in tension. The most magnetic stories are the ones that show struggle, not perfection. The human mind is drawn to conflict. Think of every movie you ever remember. It was not because the hero had everything easy. It was because he faced difficulty and survived. That arc of pain, fight, and rise is what forces the listener's emotions to wake up. When a man shares a story where he faced risk, danger, or loss, and then reveals how he pushed through, it does something very strange inside her. On one side, she feels his vulnerability. She sees that he is human, not a statue. On the other side, she feels his strength. He is not crushed by life. He carries scars, but those scars tell her he is not weak. This mix of fragility and resilience is what makes a story magnetic. A woman listening to such a story does not only hear it. She feels it. She places herself inside it. She feels the weight of his fear, the sharpness of his choices, and the relief of his victory. By the time the story ends, she does not just admire him. She feels like she has lived a small piece of his life with him. That shared emotional journey is what bonds her to him without her realizing. There is also another layer. When a man reveals struggle, but not in a self-pitying way, it signals honesty. He is not hiding weakness, which suggests he is secure enough to expose it. This triggers trust. And trust, when mixed with tension, easily transforms into desire. She feels he is not just performing. He is letting her see the raw truth. That courage becomes attractive in itself. Think of it this way. If a man says, "I won this award," she may nod politely. But if he says, "I almost lost everything before I even had a chance to compete. There was a moment I thought I would never recover," her breath slows. She feels drawn in. She wants to know how it ended, because suspense forces the mind to stay hooked. When he finally reveals triumph, the emotion explodes inside her chest. And that emotion links directly to him. This kind of story works because it awakens both survival instincts and empathy. It pulls her body into a state of alertness, then rewards her with relief. Few things are more addictive than that cycle. When a story is told, something subtle happens in the mind of the listener. It is not just words floating in the air. Her brain begins to blend the story with the storyteller. This is the hidden force that makes her attraction attach itself to him instead of the events themselves. The brain uses what psychologists call association. It links the source of an emotion to the person who caused it. If you feel joy while hearing music, your mind attaches that joy to the musician. If you feel fear during a tale, your body attaches the fear to their voice speaking it. Attraction is no different. When a man tells a story that lights up her feelings, her subconscious ties those feelings back to him. It is not about the facts of the story, but about the emotional energy she experiences through him. There is also the law of emotional transfer. When you sit across from someone whose mood is heavy, you begin to feel it. When you sit across from someone who is laughing with genuine energy, you feel lifted. Neuroscience explains this through limbic resonance. It means your emotional brain resonates with the emotional brain of the person near you. During a story, this effect becomes even stronger, because she is not only near him, she is mentally walking inside his world. Consider this: if a man tells a story where he faced danger, her body feels the tension of danger. But when he explains how he overcame it, she feels the release of relief. Both of those sensations are linked directly to his presence. Without realizing, she begins to see him as the source of her emotional journey. Her mind whispers, "With him, I feel alive." This is why bragging never works. A man who only brags about his success may hope to impress, but he is not giving her body an emotional experience. He is giving her data. And the human heart does not bond to data. It bonds to emotions. A story that shows risk, pressure, and triumph does exactly that. It puts her body through a wave of feelings that make her feel like she already lived something unforgettable with him. This also explains why women often describe attraction in strange words. They say, "I do not know why, but he just feels different." They cannot always explain it, because it did not happen on a logical level. It happened deep in the nervous system, where emotions rise before thoughts can catch up. The hidden psychology is simple yet powerful. The story becomes the bridge, but the man becomes the anchor. She may forget the details of the tale weeks later, but she will still feel drawn to the man who made her heart move when he told it. History and daily life are filled with men who unknowingly used this power. They did not always look like the strongest or the richest, but their stories made them unforgettable. Take soldiers returning from war. Many came back broken, scarred, and unsure of themselves. Yet when they spoke about what they went through, The moments they almost lost their lives, the friends they carried through fire, the times they survived against impossible odds, people listened with complete attention. Women in particular often felt a strange pull toward them. It was not about medals or uniforms. It was about the raw energy of their story. The struggle and survival created an aura that no surface charm could match. Or think of musicians who wrote songs out of heartbreak. They were not always handsome or wealthy when they began, but their pain wrapped in melody turned into stories that touched millions. A woman listening to a song born from a man's wound is not only enjoying music. She is living his sorrow with him. That bond is invisible yet powerful, and it often turns into attraction. There are also smaller, everyday examples. A man might share how he nearly failed in school, how he worked nights just to keep going, and how he faced people who laughed at him. He tells it without exaggeration, just as a slice of his life. The woman hearing it feels both his struggle and his persistence. She may not even notice her breathing slow or her eyes focus more closely on him, but her body is responding. She is feeling what he felt, and through that, she feels closer to him. Even leaders have used this unknowingly. When great figures spoke about their darkest hours, their words spread like fire. They did not inspire because they were flawless, but because they allowed others to walk inside their struggle. The more personal and emotional the story, the more people tied their loyalty to the speaker. Women, in those moments, often felt the draw not only of leadership but of intimacy. The ability to make others live your pain and triumph makes you unforgettable. This is why some men are remembered long after they leave the room. It is not because of their looks or their wealth. It is because of the emotional traces their stories left in the minds of others. The listener carries those feelings long after the words are gone. And those feelings always point back to the man who created them. You may know a man like this in your own life. Someone who does not seem extraordinary at first glance, yet somehow people gravitate toward him. He may not even understand why. But his stories, told in the right way, have made others feel alive in his presence. That is the hidden force at work. By now it is clear that the story itself is not enough. It is the way you tell it, the emotions you create, and the truth you reveal through it that makes it powerful. So how can you create and share your own story so that it moves her instantly? The first step is to look back at your life with honesty. Not the polished version, not the perfect image, but the scars and turning points that shaped you. Every man carries moments of fear, failure, and survival. Maybe it was a time you stood alone when others turned against you. Maybe it was a moment you almost gave up, yet you chose to fight on. Maybe it was the night you realized the life you were living was breaking you, and you decided to change. These are not small details. These are the fires that shaped your identity. When you tell such a story, you must avoid sounding like you are seeking pity. The tone should not be weak, nor should it be arrogant. The secret is balance. Speak of the pain, but also show how you endured it. Speak of the failure, but also how it carved strength inside you. Speak of the darkness, but also the light that followed. This balance is what pulls her into your world. The second step is presence. Do not rush. Let silence do its work. A pause between sentences builds tension, and tension makes the listener lean closer. When your voice carries steady weight, even simple words sound important. A story told with nervous speed loses its magic. But a story told with calm energy traps attention. The third step is emotional detail. Do not overload with facts. She does not need to know every street name or date. What matters is how it felt. Say how your hands shook. Say how the air felt heavy. Say how your chest tightened when you thought it was over. Those small details create mirror reactions in her body. She will feel it as if she was there with you. Finally, the story must end with meaning. Every powerful tale has a shift, a lesson, a moment where everything changes. Show her what you learned, what you carried away from that struggle. This final note is what lifts the story from pain into inspiration. An inspiration mixed with vulnerability is the spark of deep attraction. Once you practice this, you will see the difference. People may not even understand why they feel closer to you. But they will. A woman, in particular, will not just hear your story. She will feel it. And that feeling ties her to you, sometimes stronger than touch. So when you speak, remember, it is not about charm, tricks, or false performance. It is about letting your scars breathe, shaping them into a narrative, and allowing her to walk with you through it. That is the story a man can tell that makes a woman want him instantly.